guys, this is my Harpie deck build. I made 54 at the Houston Regionals at Greens Point Mall. I'm just going to go over a few things, show off tell you a couple of things you can do with this deck, and explain why some cards are staples. Anyways, here I go. You got your 3 Harpie Chandler. They're your Harpie cards. They're extra sign targets. You can pitch off a Harpie card, special summon a Harpie card. It becomes a level 7 while there's a dragon on the field. There's a lot of uses for this card. It's extremely good. It's one of the most broken cards in this deck. You got your Harpie Queen. You can pitch this off to put a hysteric, or for Hysteric Party. Add more Harpie monsters to the graveyard. Bring out your Harpie Hunting Grounds. It's a really good card. It's a 1900 beater if at very least. You got your 3 Harpie Lady 1s. I chose these over Cyber Harpie Ladies because if you have Harpie Hunting Grounds already on field, they become 1300 anyways. If you have 3 of them out on field, they automatically become 3200 beaters. If you got one of these out on field with them, this becomes a 2800 beater. It's a really good card. Powers up all your wind monsters. Your Dancer, it's great to combo off with Harpie's Chandler and your Harpie's Hunting Grounds. It's extra pops. It gets under bottomless. I only ran 1 Harpie's Pet Dragon because Harpie's Pet Dragon is a good card to have and all, but drawing into it's always dead. It left me more room for trap cards in this deck. It left me more room for a lot of other things. I only run 1. I'd only run 1 of these in this deck. It's cloggy at 2. It's too much, way too much at 3. And 2 Summoner Monks. You can pitch off your dead spells with this. For your extra Harpie summons, you can pitch off a sign to get that +3 at end phase and summon out a Harpie Lady. Summoner Monk is really good in this deck. Your 3 Hysteric Signs, this is really good because you run a lot of cards that you discard for cost. I've run a couple of Phoenix Grounds. A lot of my side cards require cost. It's a really good card. Most broken card in the deck. +3 at end phase is definitely really good. Your Hunting Grounds, they pop cards, they're searchable, they're field spells. It's an MST that's infinite. It's a really good card. Powers up all your Harpie monsters by 200. 3 MSTs I feel as though are a staple of this format. You can open up your field your opponent's field a little bit. That way you can go into it, for the OTK. You can pop some cards on your side of the field if you must, like Hysteric Sign. They're great to chain against Ravine, against Fiendish Chain, against a lot of other cards. Tinky, it really helps. 3 I feel like is a must in this deck. You can pitch them at very least for Summoner Monk. Elegant Egotist, it helps you get that extra pop from Hunting Ground. It helps you get out a Chidori, helps you get out a Phantasmal Dragon, helps you go for game. There's a lot of uses for this. It's searchable by Hysteric Sign from grave and deck. I'd only use it at run. I only use it at 1. There's not much. There's no reason why I'd ever use it at 2. And Swallow's Nest, because you can chain to a bottomless. You can chain to really anything that targets your monster. It's a really good card. It helps put Harpies in grave. It helps get your Chandlers out. It's pitchable with Summoner Monk, a really good card in this deck. You got your staple traps. I would run these at 2 if I could, but I cannot, so. 2 Magical Hats. Magical Hats is broken as fuck in this deck. You can bring out your sign. You can go get your +3 and protect your monster. Magical Hats is a really good card in this deck. Any Harpie deck should really run this. I recommend this for any Harpie build. I wouldn't run more than 2 because it could become clunky, but 2 seems like the perfect number for me. 2 Fiendish Chains because, I mean, it's Fiendish Chain. It's obvious why this card is good, but it also gets its other perks in this deck, such as if you have it face up on the field and you've already used your Fiendish Chain, and your opponent doesn't have any spells or trap cards, you can summon out a Harpie monster for the extra damage you want to do that turn, or go into something, and you can pop your dead Fiendish Chain on the field. 2 Phoenix Wind Blast, you can pitch out your signs, you can pitch your dead cards, stack their deck. If you pitch a sign with this card, you stack their deck and +3 at end phase. It's an extremely good card. 2 Icarus attack. I mean, it's self-explanatory. You can set a card, you contribute it. It pops 2 cards on their side of the field. It's a really good card. It opens up the field. It sets you up to go for game. 2 Merit Force. It opens up your opponent's field. And 2 Hysteric Parties. I probably should have ran this at 3 at this regional. Hysteric Party was definitely one of my most powerful cards this regional. This, I mean, it's just way too good. It summons all your Harpie monsters from the graveyard. There's not much really else to say. It's a Call of the Hymen for every monster in your graveyard. It's my side deck now. I run 3 Max Cs. It's self-explanatory. They're Max Cs. They're really good against a lot of matchups. 3 Goes in Match for that Dragon matchup, for any matchup that uses different attributes. It's a really good card. 2 Imperials and a Soul Drain. I was running 3 Imperials, but I found that Soul Drain has more versatility. It's at 1 for a reason, and it still does work against Dragon Rollers. I run the 3 Goes in Match and 2 Imperials and a Soul Drain mainly for Dragon Rollers. They're really powerful cards against them. Whenever I slide these in against Dragon Rollers, it's pretty much an auto win for me. There's not much else I can do. 3 non-aggression areas. You can pitch out your dead cards, pitch your signs off. If your opponent doesn't have any monsters on the field this turn, they won't have any monsters on the field next turn. They can't summon, special summon, normal, or they can't summon any monsters at all. It's really broken. It's a really broken card. Pitch off dead cards to keep your opponent's field open. It's really good. And 3 Light Imprisoning Mirrors, because Constellars is one of my worst matchups. I didn't play any Constellars this regional. I was very lucky. Light Sworn matchups, they're really good against. I definitely wouldn't take these out, even though I didn't use them one time this regional. And for my extra deck, 3 Chidori. I feel like 3 Chidori in this deck is a staple. It's easy to go into. It bounces cards. It stacks your opponent's deck. It's a 1900 beater. It's a really good card. 3 I think is a must. I found myself always going into 2. Sometimes I'd go into 3. 2 Zero Fiends. It gets 300 attack point boost and negates all your opponent's monsters on your side of the field. It's really easy for you to go into. It negates their field spells. They would have to destroy their own field spell with another field spell. There's a lot of things that this stops that people are that people were just unaware of. It makes a lot of plays. Gem Knight, Fiendish Chain, Skill Drain are a thing. This gets over that. Degusto Emerald for recycling your Harpie cards. If you don't have a Hysteric Party, it draws another card. It's really good. It's a win monster. Abyss Dweller for the mirror matchup. For really any deck that uses effects engraved, this is a really good card to stall out to stop your opponent's plays. Queen Dragon, it brings back your pet dragon. It's the dragon itself. It puts extra damage out in the field for a couple of turns. I mean, it's really good. It's 2200. You got your Maestro, your Papil, and your Cowboy. All those are self-explanatory. Papil really helps to get the extra damage out in the field for game. If they have a monster in defense that you need to get over for the extra damage, Papil is really good for that. There's other cards that's really good against that. I didn't get to play against this regional. You got your Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, because that's extremely broken. I'd only recommend 1, maybe 2. There's you go into this, none of your Harpie monsters can be targeted, and if you have 2 Harpie Lady 1s out on the field whenever you use this, you pretty much drop your opponent down to 200 life points, and you can just Cowboy for game. It's a really good card. And Master Blaze and Big Eye for your 7s. I'm not too sure. I was going to drop my Utopia for a Draco Sack, but I chose to drop my Utopia for Abyss Dweller. I don't know if I'd even run Draco Sack in this deck. Draco Sack is a really good versatile card, but I really like Master Blades. I feel like it's a really powerful card itself, and I really like Big Eye. It's Big Eye. It's completely broken. And well, that's my deck profile, and I hope you guys enjoyed.